Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Morello, the real estate mentor, and I'm here to share Wealth Principle 16 with you. Now, Wealth Principle 16 is develop a fixity of purpose. And the reason it's important is because most people wake up tired every day. They wake up unmotivated, or they've been through depression, anxiety. They've considered that maybe their life didn't have meaning, and people wonder why they're not rich. It's because they don't have a reason that gets them rich, a big enough reason, a big enough why. Who here has heard of the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek? Who's heard the book before? Excellent. So in that book, he talks about having a why. A why, when I use quotation marks, is a purpose, having a thing that you could share with others that they would get on board with. A why is very much a marketing message. It's very important if you're selling something that they understand why it's important for them. Hands to camera if you recognize that's true. You know why you buy things. Yes? Excellent. Now, fixity is 3 words. We'll start with develop, right? The word develop a fixity of your purpose. Develop means it doesn't already exist, right? To develop something means that you're going to create something new, or you're going to build onto something that already pre-existed. The fixity side of it is non-moving, like just it's not going anywhere, right? It's finally locked in place. Has anybody ever felt like maybe their purpose changed? Has anybody ever felt like over time your purpose changed and adjusted? Most people, and maybe you can relate to this, most people have heard this story of there's a president that we all like, has beard similar to mine, maybe a little longer. He had a little more hair. 16th president, 16th wealth principle. Let's roll with that. So Abraham Lincoln had a lot of adversity growing up. He had a lot of things that he was not good at. His family, by the way, making money was one of them. He was not good at making money. His family was not good at making money. And so he didn't have any money. He didn't have a formal education. Didn't have any of the advantages that you in most countries do have, where you can go to school and they teach you how to read, they teach you how to operate in the world, and they're supposed to teach you how to make money, which, hands to camera if you know, school system's broken. It doesn't teach you how to make money anymore. That was its job initially. It was prepare you to go make money. So Abraham Lincoln didn't even have that. He didn't even have a broken school system because his family couldn't afford to send him to school. And through his childhood, he in some way recognized that like he would have to do whatever he had to do himself in order to get to the next level. And if you've watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, this is not necessarily the truest of stories. Anybody watch that movie? Yes? My historians? No? Phenomenal, fun movie. Kind of goes through a little bit of his development, touches on the truth just that much. The cool part about Abraham Lincoln's story, and by the way, mostly unnotable until he decides he's going to start doing great things. He made a decision. He locked in a purpose and changed it over time, but he just dialed in a little bit more. He developed further, deeper into what he was doing. But he was going through this kind of political challenge where he had an opponent. I can't remember the name of the opponent, but he wrote a pretty scathing letter, and that scathing letter ended up becoming public, and he was challenged to a duel. And in that duel, by the way, a duel is to the death. Hands to camera if you don't ever want to be challenged to a duel to the death. Excellent. So he was challenged. He ended up declining and not showing up, and which is not good for your pride. But he taught him a very important lesson. If you ever veer from what you're really supposed to be doing, because that was his pride that caused him to write that way. It was his lack of clarity on where he wanted to go that caused him to go and start a fight with somebody who was like meaningless to his cause. He made a commitment to always focus on what he wants to accomplish. And with people, if you don't have anything that if you need them to move forward, then you have to find a common ground, right? Like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But even better is always seek a way to find common ground with a person. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Napoleon Hill's book. Who's read this one? How to Win Friends and Influence People? It's Dale Carnegie, not Napoleon Hill. So Dale Carnegie's book, he shares the principle of taking on your friends, taking on your enemies, turning them into your friends kills your enemy. Who's done this in their life, has actually implemented this principle, taken on the challenges of an enemy, served them, and turned them into a friend. You can't do those things. All of the principles that you've heard in How to Win Friends and Influence People, all the principles you've heard in sales, you can't do it if you don't know why you're doing it, if you don't know how important it is, if you don't have a fixity of purpose. Something like Abraham Lincoln discovered, which was to help other people. He really did want to help his nation. And as he continued with that desire and drive to make things right, to make things better, it led to, well, the only way to do that is become the president. It wasn't how he started. It wasn't his initial goal. It was just make the nation a little better. And then it was maybe provide a little bit more freedom. And then over time, it was provide freedom for everybody. And then other classes, let's free the slaves. Hence, the canvas, we recognize over time, it developed. He developed a deeper detail around his fixity of purpose. Excellent. The other challenge to not having it is depression. Does anybody remember a day where you woke up and you didn't want to do anything? Anybody ever have one of those days? Am I the only one who's occasionally experienced that? Okay. Depression is a countrywide, worldwide, everybody at some point on the planet who has woken up more than once has had a depressed day. If you have even seen children, has anybody ever seen a child depressed, sad, feeling upset, lonely, insecure, not sure, what they're supposed to be doing, bored? Boredom is another sign of not having a purpose. These challenges are solvable through simply making a decision. Now, a lot of people have told me I was born to do this. Has anybody heard somebody tell them they were born to do something? This is what they were born to do. And maybe you've been one of those. It's okay. Nobody's born knowing what their purpose is. Hence, if that's been true for you. You weren't born with like something tattooed on your wrist that said, you will be. I wasn't born with real estate mentor on my wrist. I added that, right? I added the bracelets later on, the wristbands of power. This is a conundrum because you've got these influencers saying, I was born to do this. I was born to act. I was born to lead. I was born to sell. I was born to have this company. I was born to be investing. I was born to invest. I was born to change the world. Bullshit. You were born with the capacity for a purpose. You were born with a desire, a burning desire for a purpose, for meaning, to be important to the tribe, to be able to impact the people in your society, in your community, so that they will keep you alive, protect you, and maybe even give you things that you want.